We live in a world of countless social interactions between other people, but as the years go on, we seem to be losing that connection. While social media has its advantages, like connecting people together and giving access to information that people normally wouldn't have access to, social media does come with a lot of flaws that we aren't willing to come to terms with just yet. Teenagers are the ones that are most susceptible to these flaws that are presented in social media. The rise in the use of social media among teenagers is affecting the way that teenagers are interacting with the world and how they perceive themselves and the people around them. Social media not only makes them less social, it can also have effects on their mental health in the long run. This is Allison Graham, and this is Allison Graham and her TED Talk at Southern Methodist University. She's a self-proclaimed social media historian and offers up some very key points on how social media usage and device distraction starts among teenagers. She expresses her concerns with the way parents are raising their kids through these devices.
On a very extreme vacation, there's just absolutely no way I can return anything during the day. But you're still expected to go back to the hotel and return your work emails. So if we as adults are this distracted, our kids are seeing this, we're always at work, and where are they? Always on their devices.
Though some might feel that we have a better connection to the people we would normally not talk to, we have to look at how social media and new media really is affecting these teenagers. In this issue of The Week from London, it poses the question, social media, toxic for teenagers? In the article, it discusses how teenagers today, the number of teenagers that see their friends frequently has dropped by more than 40% since 2000. Another article from The Atlantic describes how kids don't know how to have a conversation. The teacher in the article asks the students to have podcasts to promote good conversation skills that they can use later in life. Most students could barely hold a conversation or just fell silent, not knowing how to keep the conversation going without help from the teacher. Teenagers' reliance on screens is now becoming an epidemic, even affecting how they communicate. But what is really happening to teenagers, and who is being affected?
She appeared to be a typical all-American girl. Mallory Grossman was a cheerleader, described as a quiet, good student who was popular within a circle of friends. But then came 6th grade, where her parents say Mallory was relentlessly bullied.
Mallory Grossman was a 12-year-old girl from Rockaway, New Jersey, who tragically took her life after being harassed and bullied for months over social media. Mallory was bullied by other girls by calling Mallory ugly and that she didn't have any friends, and doing this over social media. Mallory and so many others have been negatively affected by social media and bullied through the use of social media. Mallory's story is a tragedy and one so close to home for most of us, but it is even more of a tragedy that so many people like her are losing their lives because of cyberbullying through social media. Studies have shown that from 2010 to 2015, teen suicide rates rose with the advent of new technology and social media. While this may not be fully attributed to the rise of teens using social media and new media, cyberbullying and the effect on teens seeing their friends on these sites living perfect lives affects their self-esteem, which can lead to mental health problems. Mallory is one in many cases where cyberbullying is often ignored or given light penalties or no penalties by the school at all. Cyberbullying has become a new epidemic among these teens with relentless comments and what seems to be no backlash from authorities. Cyberbullying has become a new and popular way to bully your peers and classmates. In a survey done by the Washington Post of 5,600 children ages 12 to 17, it found that 34% were being cyberbullied or had been cyberbullied in their lifetime. This can really affect the developing teenager's self-esteem down the line. Sherry Turkle is a new media and social media scholar, having wrote many books such as Alone Together and articles like The Flight from Conversation. She often discusses the correlation between the loss of conversation skills and the use of too much social media. She explains this better at her TED Talk.
So that's the bottom line. Texting, email, posting, all of these things let us present the self as we want to be. We get to edit, and that means we get to delete.
I have this little cousin that I see a lot during the holidays in the summer. He's about 9 and is obsessed with his iPad and video games, to the point where you can't even have a full conversation with him without the mention of his iPad or video game. It scares me to think that he'll have to face all the things listed, all those statistics. I even see it within my own family. My brothers, myself, are sometimes more concerned with what's going on in the virtual world than what's going on in the real world. All the facts point towards how the negative effects of social media heavily outweigh the positive effects on teenagers.